unlikely baseball player. I'll be right back. Many years ago, there was a college freshman at the University of Cincinnati. Now, this freshman, by the name of Sandy, was on the basketball team. Now, back in those days, freshmen were not allowed to play on the main team, so they had their own freshman team. And this guy was on a scholarship as a forward. Now, he was a pretty good forward. He averaged 9.7 points per game as a freshman. Now, Ed Juker was the coach of that University of Cincinnati freshman team. Now, Ed Juker also happened to be the varsity baseball coach at UC. Now, unbeknownst to him, Sandy was also a baseball player. Sandy came up to him and said, "Hey, Coach, can I have a tryout for the baseball team?" Now, why did Sandy do that? Well, he had heard that they were going to go to the exotic New Orleans on a baseball trip, and so he wanted to be part of that trip if possible. Now, Juker decided to give him a tryout. Now, it was still pretty cool in the Cincinnati area, cool weather, and so they did it in the field house. And it was dimly lit, and Sandy was a baseball pitcher. He was a left-hander. Now, if he was any good, being a left-hander could give him a little bit of an advantage. But left-handers were known to be very, very wild. So Sandy got on the mound. Catcher was there, and he wound up and he threw, yes, a very wild but fast pitch. He had only thrown 2 or 3, and the catcher, terrified of this wild left-handed pitcher, he tossed off his mask, took his mitt, handed them both to Coach Juker and said, "Coach, somebody else is going to have to catch this guy. I'm not doing it." Well, that guy's last name, who was standing on the mound that day, was Koufax. Sandy Koufax. Yes, one of the best pitchers of all time. That was his start of notoriety. He was a basketball player, but then turned baseball pitcher, turned Hall of Famer. From the years 1962 to 1966, he won 14 games, 25 games, 19 games, 26 games, and 27 games. And he led the National League in ERA in every one of those years. But he started off a very fast, wild pitcher. But he got it under control. And so the moral of the story today is, where are your strengths? You might have a diamond in the rough in you as well. You might have something in you that if you take a little bit of time and you develop it, you can go to that next level. I was a tennis player, a competitive tennis player. I played in high school and college, played in many, many tournaments, and even had an opportunity to play in a couple small money tournaments, which that was a thrill. Well, my coach, Galen Scott, he used to train us to hit the ball very, very hard. We were that first generation of kids who just crushed the ball. Now, when he first started teaching us how to do that, we were pretty much knocking down fences. We were hitting balls way out of the court and all these type of things. And Galen just kept looking at us and saying, "Don't worry about where the ball goes right now. Don't even focus on where the ball goes right now. Keep hitting it the way I'm telling you to hit it, and it will eventually go in." Well, he was right. It did eventually go in the court, and it went in hard, where we could dominate over some players because of the power that we put into the game. Well, that's a little bit like Sandy Koufax. Now, of course, he was quite a bit better pitcher than I was a tennis player, but the same principle stands firm. Take that diamond in the rough strength that you have and begin to develop it. Don't worry about your progress at this very moment. Worry about the development. Worry about the principles underneath it. And in time, the ball will get over the plate. Or the ball will get into the tennis court. And as Paul Harvey used to say, that's the rest of the story. So keep at it, my friends. It'll get there. This is Mark Bowser. Thanks for listening.